Welcome back, guys, to another podcast reaction video. We're doing a breakdown interview with Marshmello. We're reacting to it, so get away. This is going to be 2 hours. It's going to be on season 2. Thank God. But it's about to be like season 2. It's about for My First Podcast 2025. It's about to be, I don't know, awesome. I mean, a lot more high quality episodes. So, for ado, I want you guys to make sure you, follow my first podcast if you want some more of that. But actually, let's get started because, yeah, I guess. I don't know what to say on these things, but yeah, so is Marshmello breaking silence with his full interview? Yeah, like that? Okay, cool. So that's actually
for the first time in history.
Oh, baby.
The most recognizable face in music. Never been done before.
This is true.
An exclusive interview with the one, the only
internationally acclaimed producer and DJ.
You could tell right away. I was like, this guy's been around for a while.
Listening to Marshmello just made me happy and forget about my pain.
He's like an icon now.
It's not just Marshmello, it's the whole fan base, the music, the show.
At the end of the day, anybody can be Marshmello, and that's what makes this bigger than music.
How did this all start for you?
I'm so alone. I specifically wrote that song because when I moved across the United States, I left everything I knew.
Was this always the helmet?
The helmet was 14 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
I was just living with my parents in my childhood home.
It's interesting because I've never heard you do an interview before, ever.
I have so many things to tell, And then he'd freestyle. He'd be like, yo, put on an Eminem beat. In between freestyling his own songs.
That's crazy.
My whole mentality of this Marshmello thing was like, do the stuff that like your peers or other people wouldn't do.
So nobody recognizes you when you don't have the helmet on?
I always felt like I had nothing to lose.
I mean, some people might see the success and assume certain things.
There are a lot of assumptions, What would you think is assumed? Maybe like I'm an industry plant. I already expected nothing to happen. No fame, nothing, dude. That will never be me.
Because I believe you have the original helmet. Is that right?
I sure do. Give me that thing. Dun, 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 dun. Here you go. Really like your show though, man.
Intro was fire.
Really?
Yeah. Gives a good voice to.
Thank you.
Like, not really, like behind the scenes, but it's just so fun. You know what I mean? So many people are so oblivious to producing.
Yes.
And just musicians in general.
Right.
Factual.
It's insane. People just think it's just like music. It's just like there's like it's not any deeper than that. It's just like, oh, they make songs.
Yeah, I think people have a strange connection with music to where, I mean, it feels
it's almost like mythical.
Yeah, or they just kind of, I think they put like a wall in front, like behind the artist.
Yeah.
And my goal is to go behind that.
Behind that wall, oh yeah. We'll go behind the wall today, that'll be good.
So excited today.
Oh, baby.
For the first time in history, we have the most recognizable face in music doing a long-form interview. Never been done before.
This is true.
An exclusive interview with the one, the only Marshmello.
Oh, yeah. That's a good way to put it. I guess I am pretty recognizable. The face, the helmet.
Yeah, but also the music. You have some of the biggest songs that, for anyone out there, this is one of my favorite questions to ask because it really just blows people's minds every time I do it. For anyone out there who doesn't know who you are, what are the songs that they would know you from?
Happier.
Love it.
Wolves with Selena Gomez.
Fire.
Friends with Anne-Marie.
Amazing.
Come and Go with Juice WRLD. Leave Before You Love Me with the Jonas Brothers. That's a kind of a sleeper one.
Yeah, but it's about to hit like 1 billion streams,
Already
right?
did.
Really?
Or no, it might be really close.
Oh wow.
I know it's either super close or it already did. I know it's like in the 900s. But what else? Silence with Khalid.
Love that one.
Be Kind with Halsey.
That's sweet.
It feels weird, like rambling off my head. I don't know. A bunch of others.
Incredible. Now, even though you've had all those hits, one of my other favorite questions to ask is, how many songs do you think you made until you got like your first big hit?
Odin Valhalla Rising, now available on mobile and PC, exclusively with Google Play.
Nope.
It was, first of all, probably like a billion, actually. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it takes so long to craft your sound and see what works and learn. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of music producers are born with the talent, but it's a whole other muscle when it comes to production. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I always joke with like my artist friends like that are maybe like the singers, you know what I mean? Like they've always been singing, they've always been on stage, you know, like we as producers, like we had to like exile ourselves and like really nerd out. Like this isn't like it's not like a social job, you know, it doesn't put you in social situations until you make it. And even some of the biggest producers are like very reclusive, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of time spent learning and making songs and scrapping songs, you know what I mean? I feel like every producer can attest to, they probably made like 1 million songs, but it was till I got like let's just call Silence. Well, you could call Alone my first hit, you know what I mean? Alone was relatively early in my production career. You know, I started producing even when I got like my first Mac when I was a kid in GarageBand, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's when I realized I could put a loop, then I could put like a piano loop on a drum loop and it like does something, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I really like the Beastie Boys. Like I wanted to make like hip hop beats back in the day. And so I was on GarageBand like doing all that. So if you count from there to Alone, it's a lot of time spent like in my bedroom, in my parents' basement. You know
How many years would you say was GarageBand to Alone?
GarageBand, I was probably 10, really messing around.
Mm-hmm.
And then to Alone, I was what?
Okay.
Probably 11, 13 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Bar mitzvah age, in fact.
Bar mitzvah age. Yeah. But yeah, it took a while. A lot of YouTube tutorials.
Yeah, YouTube seems to be like a real big like turning point for you, especially with what you were talking about earlier with Alone. That video connected like no others. I even remember being my freshman year of college seeing it, and then I just remember it connecting so much. And then everyone finds out that like, oh, where's this voice coming from? And then you pitch it down, and then you find out it's you.
Yeah, I think it's like three semitones. I forgot what I had like a template, you know, back then.
Got
like,
you.
If I was gonna sing, I'd pitch the whole song down by 3 or 4, and then pitch it back up. Sing it, pitch it back up.
How did Alone come about? How did you make that song? Where did that song come from?
Yeah, so I had just moved out here from my hometown, and I don't know, man. I was just like really could not. It was like a fuse. It was like undeniable. I couldn't stop making Marshmello music. You know what I mean? Like I was just running with everything. I felt like I had this new like sandbox, like playbox, like with all these different things that I learned over the years of how to produce. You know, and I've always been like kind of like singing, you know, but it was really in like metal bands and stuff, you know. But I knew that I would love to, you know, incorporate some sort of singing into this Marshmello project, which at the time was like a year old, if that. You know what I mean? Maybe if that. Maybe less than a year old when I made Alone. And I was like,
that's like my favorite.
You know, I'm gonna try singing, but I don't want to be like, which is no shade to anybody, but like I didn't want to be like the DJ that came and, you know, was a DJ and now all of a sudden I want to be a singer. You know what I mean? Like I just really wanted to DJ, so I didn't want to like put my real voice in it. So I just decided to pitch it up. And it was also kind of like with that little like cutesy bubbly like Marshmello sound that I was doing back then, it just really made sense that I'd pitch the song up. So whatever. So I moved from, you know, East Coast and just sitting in the studio down on down on 7th Street in downtown LA. And I was like, I was just having a conversation with an artist actually on the way here about lyrics and how about I'm the guy that's like not a lyric guy, like in writing sessions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm always like sitting next to the writers, like, it's all right, like, let's just use the simple words. It's like, let's not like freak out about, is this word right or these big words, you know what I mean? So I've always like melody is king, So that day I was like, I'm so alone. I was like, is that too simple? I'm like, yeah, but it sounds good. You know what I mean? Trying to find my way back home to you. It's like, it's very simple, concise. You know what the song is about.
Yeah.
And it just sounded good. I didn't think anything of it, because at the time, like,
yeah,
I was like buzzing on like blogs and stuff, but I was not, what I am now, obviously, because that was like 10 years ago. So I just made it because I thought it sounded good, and yeah, I was just put it together in probably a few hours, just banged it out. And I was like, this is kind of cool. And then sent it to my manager. He was like, yeah, it's cool. And I was like, it's cool. And it sat on SoundCloud. Monster Cat hit us up. And it was like, we would love to release a track with you. And we gave him kind of the library of SoundCloud songs that I had, like on private. They chose Alone, and the video helped it. Like, obviously, like, probably one of the biggest driving forces of that song, other than the song itself.
I think it's like 2.5 billion
2.5 billion.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's that kind of stuff I can't wrap my head around, you know what I mean?
At 2.5 billion people, it's just impossible to even imagine.
Number one, 100%. And number two is just like how it felt when I made it. How I was just like cranking out music to it becoming that is like a very paradox, a crazy paradox, just so different,
I think the song is also like super relatable though, because I think throughout our lives, there's always a point where we are alone. Yeah. There's always a point where we're trying to find community. And the music video really stands out because I think a lot of people can relate to this idea of being an outsider.
Yeah.
At least 2.5 billion people can.
Yeah.
When we get to the end, you get to see all these people kind of accepting because you're doing something that you love in the video, which is probably, would you say that was kind of what was happening in real life at the time too? Did it kind of mirror?
Yeah, it kind of 100%, because like we're just talking about, like, to be a producer is not, to learn how to produce music, every single producer can 100% attest to this. When you really get down to the nitty gritty, you're missing out on those social situations, you know what I mean? You're like holed up, like you don't really want to see people after a while. You're used to being alone and learning, so you kind of get outcasted a little bit, in the beginning when you're learning. And, I specifically wrote that song because when I moved across the United States, I had some friends out here, but I left everything I knew, Like, I visited LA, found an apartment that day, and then moved from the East Coast like 3 days later because I just knew I had to, because I knew I couldn't stay. So I got out there and I'm just alone in this studio. And I'm like, I don't know, let's just write about, I'm so alone. It was just that, it's just like that first line, I'm so alone, and then whatever comes after, I think I even just freestyled the whole thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not the whole thing like it's some like huge, long-winded lyrical song.
It's really cool to hear the story of Alone. It was such a defining moment for you and like this, like where you are now. But I always like to go into like how an artist gets to the point that they are. Music producer. How did this all start for you, for music?
Music in general.
Making music.
Sure, yeah. My parents are not musical, but they insisted on me being musical.
That's your show.
Interesting.
Yeah. Don't know why, but it's, they put me in like toddler, like percussion classes or something like weird, which is like babies just bang on the ground. And my dad was like, he's a genius. So I was like taking, piano lessons when I was 4. They were like sitting with me, like holding me back, like, so I like, wouldn't fall off the chair. I wasn't like a savant, you know what I mean? But I learned piano from a very young age.
That's sweet.
I wanted to play the guitar so badly, but they were like, you have to play piano till you're 10 for whatever reason, and then you'll get a guitar. As soon as I got that guitar, I never played piano. Like, I know my way around a piano, you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Like, since, and I kind of lost it for a little bit, and then now that I've been like writing a lot for the last few years, I like taught myself back how to do, chords and all that stuff. But I've always been able, like a lot of the Marshmello stuff's like melodic. I can always like run scales. I've always been able to.
Gotcha.
But I was really guitar oriented, which is why a lot of my earlier stuff is very like almost like punk guitar leaning, you know? Especially like Come and Go with Juice WRLD, stuff like that. Like,
love that song.
Thanks. The guitar's right here actually that I played it.
Really?
Every song I like play guitar on, that specific guitar is here right now. It's over there.
We're definitely gonna have to check that out.
We'll break it out later.
Sick.
Yeah.
At Action Behavior Centers, we provide personalized ABA therapy for children with autism aged 2 to 8, helping them reach milestone.
It's all beat up. It's actually pretty cool.
If you're a full-time artist, producer, creative, you're probably always on the move, and I completely understand because I'm always traveling to do interviews, and I'm constantly living at airports, Airbnbs, and hotels, and I always got to use the same annoying public Wi-Fi, where all my information is free for anyone to grab. Well, 4 years ago, I was so tired of this, I did some research on VPNs, and I found my favorite VPN, NordVPN. No matter where I am, it works across all devices, and I can connect up to 10 devices, which is great for me because I'm constantly living half of my life on the internet. And on top of that, NordVPN lets you change your location to any one of 118 different countries, which helped me a ton when I wanted to rewatch Prison Break last year when it wasn't available anywhere else. But I could get it on another streaming service if I changed my location to the UK. This is actually true. This actually happened. It even has a feature that protects you from threats. When you're browsing the internet and a sketchy website comes up or all these annoying things that you have to deal with that you don't even realize is there, NordVPN works in the background to block malware phishing schemes. Plus, it's crazy fast and probably the best VPN I've ever used. And honestly, I only want to work with brands that I truly believe in, and NordVPN is one of them. So if you want to try it for yourself, go to nordvpn.com/wall to get a big discount on a 2-year plan plus 4 months free. And there's zero risk because it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So head to the description, nordvpn.com/wall to try it out today. But now it's time to get back to one of my favorite interviews ever, Marshmello. Where did the idea for Marshmello come from?
So I had been an artist.
Here we go.
A lot of different artists, bands, stuff like that, you know. But you know, I was just messing around with I got like a huge sample pack from a friend, and just messing around with, you know, I never really used a lot of samples coming up, you know. I always thought even like kick samples, snare samples. For some reason, when I was like learning how to produce, I'm like, I have to do it myself and like layer 4 snares together and layer 3 kicks together and EQ them all and put them in a chain. And, you know, but I come to find out all my peers are just using sample packs. So I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this expedites so much. Instead of spending half a day making a kick, I just drag a kick that already sounds good.
Yeah.
And I remember like learning that. So right around then, and I just started making, I've always loved melodies, you know, like melody. It's definitely some of my favorite part, my favorite part of writing music. And I was just writing, you know, I came from the East Coast, so, you know, there's a lot of Jersey club over there, a lot of trap music. That's how I grew up. And, you know, I just started making Jersey club mixed with this and throwing samples and throwing these vocal samples and all this stuff. And, you know, before I know it, I was making 3 songs a day.
Wow.
And laying down on my bed, like on my stomach, like making these songs. But all my other music, I was like, to be in the studio with my keyboard and my mouse and my monitor, and it's all so fancy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I thought I needed. But for some reason, when I started this Marshmello project, I was just cranking out just my own little version of, you know, Jersey club. And, you know, and Jersey club, it's like all kicks the whole time, you know? Dum, 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 dum. And that was fine. But I also wanted to like experiment with like putting a snare on that 3rd kick. So it's like dum, 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 dum. So like people would like, I thought maybe it'd be a little bit more mainstream, you know, because sometimes just Jersey's a little confusing. And I really liked how it sounded. And so like once I kind of did that, I feel like for like 2 years, all my music was just dum, 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 dum. You know what I mean? Because like it can like make people jump, and they have that like call and response of the kick snare that they're so used to in all other kinds of music, you know? So anyways, yeah, so I was just running with this. Like I said, it's just like it just caught something in my body where I was just like, I couldn't stop making this music. It was so exciting. I felt like there were no rules, you know? And so I just did that, sent it to my manager. I think I had like 8 or 9 songs done in like the first 5 days or something, 4 days, whatever. And he's like, crazy. You know, we should start a project, man, like something new. And me living at home still, I'm like, yes, I'll do anything, like whatever. So we sat there and came up with the Marshmello, you know, mellow melodies, and it was kind of mellow, chill. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like even like my first single was Keep It Mellow with Omar Links.
Oh wow!
And that was like, we shot a music video, my first music video. We like went to Borgor's house and shot it there, and like invited all of our like DJ friends out and stuff, and it's a crazy time. But that's like a very mellow song, you know what I mean? And that just kind of fell into place. You know, I got a lot of remix opportunities, which were really huge for me. Which like looking back, like I was making them at my parents' house. Like I didn't know what was going. Like I didn't know what was going on. Like what this project was, what everything, you know, because I was just so tunnel vision on like my music and like I'm gonna make this work. So yeah, just kind of fell out, like just snowballed.
Would you say that the idea for being able to just create from any place was kind of that driving factor for you to not be like hindered down by making a specific type of music that you were kind of boxed into before? Like this kind of gave you the freedom to do anything in a sense.
Yeah, it kind of, I always said, it kind of felt like a culmination of everything I learned since that garage band day when I was 9.
Yeah.
You know, the trap drums, the melodies and stuff, the chords and you know, a lot of this stuff lends itself where I was coming from when I wrote a lot of, you know, the chord progressions or the melodies, very like pop punk oriented, you know what I mean? Like Newfound Glory and Sum 41 and Good Charlotte and like all that stuff, you know what I mean? Like nursery rhymey sounds like kind of like bad, you know, connotations, but it's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like a melody that goes up and a melody that concludes, you know? A lot of that music is like that, and that's the only stuff I grew up on. And yeah, so when it came time to write melodies, what was in my blood, in my DNA, were these very catchy, like pop punk-esque, you know, melodies. So,
did it work right away, or did it take a bit for the music to start catching on?
For Marshmello?
Yeah.
That it was kind of instantaneous.
Really?
Which also, I think why I wouldn't say I was like disconnected, but I was just cranking out music, and I knew it was gaining attention. You know what I mean? Because like the SoundCloud days, you know. What I mean? Just all the metrics right there, you know, and you could just see everything and the shares and the comments and stuff. It's like it was so exciting for me, you know, because I had been trying for so long to make something work, and things went really well here and here and here, but nothing really fully came to fruition until then. So I was just cranking out remixes, you know, for Selena, remixes for Ellie and Calvin, all these remixes, and like I just like didn't know what was going on. I was just like my face in my computer.
Yeah.
So it was just a really crazy time, honestly.
Which remix would you say was like the turning point for you that like really pushed to that next level then?
What really pushed to the next level, I would say, you know, there's a few pinnacle things, right? I remember I put out the Calvin Harris, Ellie Goulding Outside remix. And I listened back to it the other day, and I was like, this is kind of like swaggy. I'm like, this is pretty sick. I was like, what was I thinking? Not like what was I thinking, like, oh, what'd you do? But like, I don't know where I was at. Like, why did I choose to pitch the vocals up? Why did I choose to have like claps running the whole drop, like almost like twerk shit or something? You know, it's just like, I feel there's no rules. I was just doing whatever. DJ Snake hit me up off that remix.
Really?
Yeah. If we're talking remixes, strictly remixes, he was like, yo, like, you got the juice, dude. Like, good shit.
That's
like,
incredible.
You know what I mean? And then the real one was when Sonny reached out for me to do the Where Are You Now remix.
Yeah, what did that feel like?
That's the remix. That's the remix. You know, Skrillex, he hit my manager up, I think, and I had just originals out. And he hit my manager up and was like, dude, I have to know, like, who Marshmello is, you know? And Mo, my manager's like, I'm not going to tell you. And he's like, come on, man, like, it's fine. Whatever, so, like, all that transpires, and we get in contact, and, you know, we're really close, and, you know, I released some songs on Ausla, but before that was the Where Are You Now remix, because I remember I made that back in, you know, my parents' basement. And that was the one. Well, first of all, I remember when I heard Where Are You Now, I was like, this is where my head is with like Marshmello, like the original song. I was like, damn. I was like, that's like what I've been chasing, this sound, this like this vocal little chop that has like a really small reverb on, like a really small room reverb on it, and it's distorted, and it has like the deep house bass line, you know what I mean? It was everything that like I was going for, and I was like, oh man. And then they're like, yo, you want to remix it? I'm like, yeah. And so what I did was I put, you know, that like drum loop that we were talking about earlier, huge saw bass, chopped up, made my own little melody of the lead, and they loved it. And I was just so happy. That was the one. That really was the one, because it kind of like, it was like everything that was going on at the time, you know, like all came together.
With over 2 billion monthly users, YouTube Ads makes it easy to expand your...
Right there, with that remix.
That's amazing.
Remix wise, yeah. It was a crazy time.
What did it feel like to get that call from Skrillex?
I was like so nervous, you know what I mean? My manager was like, call him back. I'm like, no, dude. I'm like, that's Skrillex. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? You know, I just came. I was just living with my parents in my childhood home. And now I'm like calling these big DJs and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm like, just hold on. I'm like, I just couldn't get a grip on what was going on.
Did you decide to call him?
Yeah.
Was that the famous call?
That was the famous call.
Tell me about that call. Tell me what that was like.
That was that conversation. I was like, no, dude, I'm not just gonna call Skrillex. Are you insane? You know what I mean? Because you have to understand, like, coming up in college and all that stuff, learning how to do this, who else was there? Who was at the top? You know? Like, so he's like, call him. I'm like, all right, fine. He probably won't pick up. Like, I'm like, nobody. And he picked up, and it's Katie Couric, and I'm like, oh, what's up, Katie Couric? And she's like, yo, I'm here with Sonny. And Sonny's like, oh yeah, this new kid, Marshmello. You know, he's cool. And I was in LA, and I was gonna see him. He's like, I'll see you later, man. Like, the interview's up still. But that was the thing. And I turned to my manager. I'm like, dude, I think I might be on the news. And he's like, who's Katie Couric? You know, I'm on the East Coast, so like, you know, I forget what the news thing was, but she was like a huge East Coast personality. She's a huge personality in general. I'm like, I think they might put that on somewhere. He's like, no. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm probably just like freaking out. I was just like generally freaked out in the beginning of my career. You know what I mean? Just everything. I was like, this can't be right. What's happening? You know? And sure enough, I get a text. He says, fuck. Not fuck. I forget what it was. But he sent me a text like, yo, look. And it was the interview.
That just went crazy. Like, so, okay. The first time you call Skrillex ever, was that...
No. Maybe that's why I was so nervous at the time. I don't remember. Yeah.
That's just an insane
It very well
story.
could have been. It very well could have been.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Because it was always through, you know what I mean? Like, my manager was like the social one, you know, when I was coming up.
Yeah.
So I was like, just like making, you know, like I said, making my music, just, you know, head in my laptop. And he's like, yo, this person, you know, wants to meet and all this stuff. So most likely, yeah, that was my first time. Yeah.
And then that happens that's insane.
Yeah, it was insane. It's just crazy, man. I'm just like so grateful for everything. And, you know, as you get older with anything, you kind of like reflect.
Yeah.
I'm definitely like in my reflecting stage the last few years.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've never heard you do an interview before, ever. Like, I've heard you do like small things here and there.
Yeah.
What made you want to start telling more of your story?
I think it was just kind of like, let's see where this goes. You know what I mean? We had a thing in the beginning. It's like mysterious, no voice. It's like, you know, I'm like kind of goofy, you know what I mean? So I was like kind of acting like funny, stuff like that.
You had like yes or no buttons and
body
like
language, yeah, you know, all that stuff. And at the time, that was like that's what it needed to be. You know what I mean? That's what I like doing. You know, because it all ties back, like the antisocial aspect of being a producer. Like, fine with me. I don't have to talk. I don't have to think about like interviews and saying the right thing and all this pressure. You know, that's what I'm really like thankful for. You know, is like I kind of got to, you know, there was obviously plenty of pressure in other areas, but some parts that artists deal with where they have pressure, interviews, you know, talking on stage. I always talk on stage, but you know what I mean? Like being more social and more vocal, more of a personality. I kind of got to like circumvent that for a while, especially at the peak of my career, which I think helped me a lot kind of maintain, you know, the person who I am and kind of, you know, keep what I like to think a level head. You know, obviously have my moments like everybody does, but it was, I'm really grateful for that. It was odd though, you know, like looking back, I'm kind of like, oh man, I was like really dancing like a crazy person, like doing all this stuff, but every phase of Marshmello and everything, I'm just so especially just grateful for, and every phase is so different. So right now it's like, you know, 10 years in, man, like I did the whole charades thing, you know, I did this, I did the writing on a thing. Oh, that's so funny. He doesn't talk. But now I'm like, yo, I have so many things to tell, you know?
Yeah.
So even on the production stuff too, man, like I just put my first production video up the other day on the first track of my Roots EP. It's like a trap album, a trap EP. I did that, explained to everybody, you know, very just nonchalant, you know, maybe too nonchalant for some people. They were kind of upset with me about not being like too detailed, but it was my first one. So, you know, I'm like learning how to do it all, but you know, there's all these things I've always wanted to do that wasn't like the protocol back then, you know, no talking, no this, which is, I was on board with too, you know, but now just feels right. And I feel, you know, more in touch with the brand as a person.
Yeah. How the brand, in my opinion, kind of reminds me a lot of Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Like anyone can be under the mask. It kind of like inspires like so many like generations and everything like that.
Yeah.
You've kind of been able to touch so many different generations, as well as so many different cultures.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be such like a global artist because of that?
Everything about like that we're talking about, there's always a little disbelief still mixed into everything. You know what I mean? Because I just think it's so important, and especially just, you know, catering to everybody of my fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even my sets, like just everything, the music I make, like how diverse it is, you know what I mean? And there's been a lot of songs I've passed up on like culturally because I didn't really know what to do with them. You know, I'll only do something if I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this like, I feel this like in my soul, this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like one of my biggest cultural impacts, song-wise, was Biba. I did for India and Bollywood and all this stuff. And I grew up in the suburbs. Like I don't know, but they brought me this opportunity and I just learned so much. And I went over there and met all these dudes and went to parties out there.
Yeah.
It was like with these people, and I'm like, just these people in a different country. It's just so crazy, you know? I'm like, this is so awesome. And it's still in disbelief. You know what I mean? It's just like a constant like murmur of disbelief in everything I've done. And like, yeah, it's just so cool.
I even saw you were like learning all the instruments that they have over there.
Yes.
Which is so sick.
That was the first time. That was the first take when I picked up that drum.
Really?
Yeah, that's why those reactions. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, because I grew up playing drums too. You know, drums, guitar, and all.
Yeah.
So my rhythm's like, you know, good. So I just like picked it up, and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" It was like two culture shocks. You know what I mean?
But it's also like what's cool about having Marshmello is you can make a song that's in dubstep, you can make a song that's in pop, you can make a song that's in EDM. That has allowed for so much for you. What kind of genre is your favorite to make right now then?
Been really in like my trap wave, you know. Marshmello's always been trap leaning, but you know, with this kind of like resurgence, underground resurgence, I would say trap is like underground right now. You know what I mean? It's like back.
Okay.
Underground, you know, because it swaps. It's like house, trap. You know, they just kind of do like a carousel. Like ISO, you know what I mean? He's like definitely the king. And it just kind of like, you know, that door cracked a little bit, and I'm obviously like familiar with trap music. So I'm like, all right, let's try this again, you know? I've been doing that and a lot of like speed garage, like speed house. Like I call speed house, like anything above 130.
Got you.
I mean, it's not like true, you know. Working with Hamdi and stuff, he put me onto like so many genres when we made our song Fired Up.
Odin Valhalla Rising, now available on mobile and PC, exclusively with Google Play Games. Ascend to Valhalla on a larger PC screen and earn Google Play points for every purchase you make on PC. Download Google Play Games today.
But yeah, so I've been experimenting a lot with, the melodies of Marshmello, sounds of Marshmello, under some even speed lo-fi house. I've really been. That's cool. He's trying to get like creative, because I love trap, and I got that EP out, and I was like really happy with that, and the response was really good, and
I'm
from
not
the trap
guys.
kids, from the Marshmello fans, everything. And those are my roots, and that's why I named it The Roots. And I love it. Yeah. So I'm gonna work on a second Roots project for sure.
Yeah. Love that.
And I need to like just put out a Bad Bunny remix.
Yeah,
like 132, 134.
Yeah, Bad Bunny remix.
That would be fire. Like the Marshmello template, but with like house drums. I put together and everything.
I was watching an old interview you did, and
which one? Which one out of the 3 I've ever done?
I watched every single one.
Yeah.
And one of the things
for
you
a
said,
total of 10 minutes.
You wanted to do a song with Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
And you kind of made it like with the remix, but
yeah, it's like we've danced around in circles, not like circles, like social circles. We've danced around, like we always run into each other, and stuff like that. So it's never officially happened. But I was happy to do a little bootleg of DTMF. So, and that's how it's like, that's where I would see like the Marshmello, like kind of like just call it 4 on the floor side, somewhere in that realm. I'm still working on it. I've been making a bunch of remixes and stuff.
Was this always the helmet?
Always, just very, very significantly. The weights are very different from the first one to this one.
What do you mean by that?
So the first one had this was like perforated steel, like thick steel, like this thick.
Oh, geez.
So shaky. Yeah, thick. It's like Kevlar and like not cement, but like something crazy inside. The helmet was 14 pounds.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But I was a young kid, invincible, with this new project, playing all these shows, living my dream out. I didn't feel that 14-pound helmet's cons until years later. And I said, you know what? I think we should maybe invest into something lighter. I really retired the heavy-duty helmets with the lights. I used to have to wear like a CPU on the back, on my back. I would have this like waist trainer thing, like that wrapped around my stomach and my waist. And the back was a CPU or GPU, a CPU with a little fan. And you can see in photos from my side, I always hated it, like wearing long sleeves or whatever. I would turn to the side, and you'd see this huge box on the back, like this huge wire, like this thick, running all the way back up, and this heavy helmet. And the lights looked awesome, though.
They did.
They did.
I saw the first show that you did in 2015.
Yeah.
And you could see them right there on stage. They look sick.
Yeah. And, that was something that was like definitely, a point of like, not conflict, but kind of like debate within, like my camp was like, yo, man, the lights are awesome. It's like, yeah, but like my back and my spine and my joints and stuff, man, like I think I care more. And it took a while for me to really totally like, okay, I'm going to stop doing the lights, I've thought about bringing them out for here, there, stuff like that, but I probably will in the future. But this is 2 pounds.
Much
Let me
better
just start by saying, so 12
14.
pounds lighter.
Yeah.
But the very, 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 very first helmet that I wore on the Hard Day of the Dead clip commercial thing, the first time Marshmello was ever seen, it was like a yoga mat that my manager found this dude on like Etsy or Craigslist or something. And he's like, yo, this is like what we're thinking for a logo. Can you like make this? Wait, I think I have it here. Maybe I moved it. I might have it here.
That's crazy if you do.
So we'll see.
We will see.
That'd be cool to show.
That'd be crazy.
There is a picture though on Billboard.
And there's the video.
And the video
of you using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you like very receptive to putting that on your head at first, or was there like a lot of pushback? Even like, I mean, at the time you sound like you were living with your parents. Were they like super receptive to it too?
When you tell your family, guys, we figured out the name. It's gonna be Marshmello. They're like, what? What?
Yo,
like,
what?
You gotta trust me. My manager's a genius. Okay, I'm in good hands with him. I got the music, all this stuff down. I'm in good hands with myself. We're gonna make it happen. They're like, oh, they're so supportive. Okay, sounds good. Can't wait. A little initial apprehension, yes. I mean, but I saw it and I'm like, let's rock. Let's go. I'm in.
If you're watching this, there's a good chance you want to put out music, you already put out music, or know someone who puts out music. And what most people don't know, it was almost impossible to do that back in the day. In fact, Queen had to sell their van just to record their first album. It was impossible to put out music back in the day. And when I wanted to first put out music around 6 years ago, it felt so complicated and expensive, and I didn't know where to start. Well, that was until I found DistroKid. DistroKid is the actual music distribution platform that I've been using for years now. It is seamless, it is easy, it allows me to post my music to every single streaming platform at an annual flat rate. Prices don't change, you don't pay per release, it's just one price that you pay for the year, and you can upload as many songs as you want. There's no gatekeeping, it's just upload and go. And if you're collaborating with other artists, DistroKid makes the process so easy, no more awkward convos, you just split it up based on percentage and it automatically distributes royalties directly. But here's one of the most important things. Unlike other distribution platforms, DistroKid takes no percentage of your royalties. So you as an independent artist get to keep 100% of your music royalties. So if and when you're ready to share your music with the world, check out DistroKid. It's had my back for over 6 years now. Head to the description now to check it out for yourself at a discount. And now let's get back to Marshmello. You also are an independent artist, correct? Mm-hmm. And you've always been independent?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we license out to the labels, you know, the rights to it, but I signed one album deal with Sony. So technically,
got it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But no, I've never been signed, no. Like signed like to a term, no.
I mean, that's incredible.
It's crazy.
And
I got to give props to my manager for that one. I'm learning, but I'm not the business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's the spectrum of the business guys and the creatives, you know what I mean?
I mean, some people might like see the success and how like not know about everything in the past and might see how quickly it happened and like assume certain things.
There are a lot of assumptions, yeah.
What would you say to those people who have those assumptions?
Well, there's a bunch of different kinds. So like, from your perspective, what do you think is assumed about, we're talking about like the rise.
Mm-hmm.
What would you think is assumed about all of that? Maybe like, I'm an industry plant.
There are some people out there who use that phrase.
For sure, I mean, of course. But number one, I feel like industry plants, like you need a label behind you.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, there's no money behind when we were first starting.
Yeah.
Like still living with our parents and stuff, man. Like, so it was just like, we obviously had connections. Like I had a few blog homies, you know what I mean? My manager was on Bygor, working for Borgor. You know, so we had like our friends there. That's it. I don't know what was going on in the universe that time, but for my Marshmello music, uploading every day, my manager being who he is, how he thinks, how he sees people, he just knows, you know what I mean? He like just like reads it like a battlefield or something. You know, he just knows how to move. Like that with the sound that I guess people didn't know they wanted it, I would assume. Just perfect storm. It's one of those like perfect storm situations.
But it was also like, I think what you were saying earlier, like the music connected a ton.
Yeah.
And also like, it was different than what people were doing right now. And it created this mystery of like, one, who is Marshmello? Two, anyone can connect with Marshmello.
Yeah.
And then also like the marketing that you guys were doing was just crazy and smart.
Yeah.
Transform your newsletter into its very own mobile app and allow your readers to install it directly on their home screen. Your custom...
It's definitely, you know, like, I was just happy to be there, man. Like, just like, I got the helmet on. I'm like, I'm happy with this. I'm just like happy to be here, right? So I just like didn't, in the beginning, I didn't want to make it about, I just like wanted everybody to be able to connect and not worry about, if I had a face and all this stuff, then I'm a person. Then you relate to me in a lot of good ways and a lot of bad ways, right? Like, I wouldn't do that. I don't agree with what that person did.
Yeah.
But with the mask and Marshmello, and I got to always like be like happy and like go lucky and like, you know what I mean? Like jovial.
Yeah.
So it was amazing escape for me. And it just connected with so many people. Like, it's just a vibe, honestly. You know what I mean? It was just like the vibe of the project I think people were attracted to. And it's kind of like peculiar wearing a mask like this and like seeing somebody wearing this play like a big show. Like, I kind of want to see what's up with that. Then you see the community and you see what people are saying, and you're like, oh, I want to be a part of this. Like, that was such an important thing that I was so grateful for. That's how it was in the beginning.
It's also very recognizable. Like, you see that and you remember it.
Yes.
As you were saying.
Yes.
But also, like, if the music didn't connect, then this never would have happened. So it definitely comes from, like, I'd say the music's probably like the predominating factor to really push it as well.
I'd like to think so, at least. You know what I mean? My piece of the pie. Just, I don't know, man. Like, I remember when I was kind of finding myself as a music artist, I remember go on like Reddit or just go on like forums and see what other producers said, Something that, I hope I don't misremember this, but I'm almost positive. It was Oral Grime said something like, I just kind of started making stuff that like sounded good to me without any, like, I'm going to make festival trap music. And so I boxed myself and then I figured it out in that box, right? For me. But I read something, I'm pretty sure it was Oral Grime, and he was like, I just started making music until it like sounded cool to me. I didn't really know what it was. Like, I didn't really have like a plan. And so once I started doing that, I was like, well, I know how to make trap drums. I know how to be very melodic. And I like, at the time, Progressive House was so big. And I was like, what if I did this weird mix of like Jersey Club, like what Trippy Turtle was doing, and like trap, and with progressive house melodies, you know what I mean? Because I loved Alesso. I loved like just all those people from that era, watching Ultra. Cruella was like such a big...
Yeah.
Cruella was such a big inspiration to me, man. Like, just all those melodies and everything, just that whole era. I was like, oh, what if I just blended it all? Like, there's no box, really. I'm just going to try to make it sound cool. I have nothing to lose, And so, whatever kind of music I spat out during that first year, I guess people were like, yep, this is cool. And I'm just like thankful for that. So, crazy.
Over the last few years, I've sat down with some of the greatest minds in all of music, and they've told me stories and given me some of the best tips that changed my entire perspective on creating. And I'm looking to give that to you because I'm hoping that it can help you just as much as it helped me. My goal with Behind the Wall is to shine a light on the people's stories behind music, movies, and media. It's to inspire the next generation of creatives, but it's also to create the platform that I wish I had when I first started making music, when I first started being creative, when I first started making videos. Behind the Wall has taught me so much on this journey, and I want to take these lessons that I've learned and help the next generation. So I put together 15 of the most important and impactful lessons that I've learned on my own journey from these people directly, from some of the greatest minds in all of music. People like Chris Martin of Coldplay, Benny Blanco, Ryan Tedder, Julia Michaels, Amy Allen, Bonnie McKee, Savan Kotecha. So many of the greatest minds in all of music, people that I had the pleasure and privilege of interviewing. People like Ryan Tedder, who gave me one of the greatest pieces of advice that helped me on my own journey. People like Benny Blanco, who changed my entire perspective 6 years into making music. People like Marshmello, who taught me that as long as something sounds good to you, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And I'm looking to pass this knowledge on to you, which will be 15 lessons from the greatest minds in music, which will be in the description completely for free. And when you get this PDF, you'll also be granted access to our brand new Behind the Wall community. No algorithms, no noise, just conversations and real people who care about what they create. That's what we're looking to foster here for Behind the Wall. If that sounds like you, check it out in the description below, and can't wait to see you there. And now let's get back to one of my favorite interviews I've ever done, Marshmello. One of my favorite things to talk about are the songs that I really connect with, and there's so many that you've made that I love.
I'd be interested to hear.
We talked about Alone.
Yeah.
The next song to really take off for you was that Silence with Khalid. How'd that song come about?
All right. One of my favorite stories ever, for real.
Sweet.
I feel like every story about how a song is made is like, you can't pick like your favorite kid. You know what I mean? They're all so special and so blindsided every time. It's like every hit I've had, I'm like, came out of nowhere, no planning, just like silence, right? I could really tell the long-winded story if you'd like. It's pretty cool. So
I'm excited.
Khalid had his first hit on that album 18. Forget the first name of the song.
Oh.
The first song, Location.
Location and then Young, Dumb, and Broke.
Young, Dumb, and Broke was after Silence, right after Silence.
Really?
Yeah, or it was like around the same time.
Okay.
Yes, because I remember like both those singles took off, and he was like doing Young, Dumb, and Broke and Silence, and we were just like hitting the award show circuits, just like so exhausted. I'd always see him. I'm like, "You doing all right, man?" He's like, "I'm so tired." I was like, "Me too." I was like, "I love you, dude." We just keep going our separate ways. So, anyways, he put out Location.
Yeah.
And it was like it was like the heyday, the SoundCloud days and the YouTube days. They just like worked in tandem with each other. You could comment, it's like almost like forums, you know, all this stuff. And it's just so, it's like right when Post came around too. He had Holyfield, the song Holyfield was like one of my favorite songs. Anyways, there's a certain vibe, right? So there was like everybody online, Hype Machine kids, all this stuff, knew about Khalid. But he was picking up on YouTube, stuff like that, but he wasn't this like household name. And I was kind of new, and I saw this like young kid like blowing up. And so I just, you know, I loved his song. And so I was like, yo man, like number one, checking in, just like, how are you doing with everything? Like, cause I know it gets crazy, but it was so early. He's like, oh man, this is amazing. And I was like, yo, I didn't even really hit him up to make music, dude. There's something about him. I don't know what it was. I was like, yo, do you want to come to Coachella and just like hang out? Like, I'll just like take you around. Because I don't really know what I'm doing either. And he's texting me like, this is how early it was. Do I need security with me? Like, do you know? Like what do I do? Like, I don't really know how to play this. I was like, I don't know, man. Just like.
YouTube ads is made for your business. Bring your brand to life with targeted video ads. And connect with the perfect audience. Grow your business and reach your people with YouTube ads.
I was playing Coachella that year. I had this big house. I was like, come stay with me. I'm like, it's like a huge house. Just like stay in one of the rooms. I'll make sure you're like off to the side. Like you don't have to, you know, because I want to be like practicing and stuff like that. Because that was the year where I drum battled Travis Barker at, I only played Coachella once, but like I had like a drum set, all this stuff. I was like, it's gonna be really crazy. I know you're blowing up, you have your own life. Come stay with me and I'll just like make sure you're good. And so we do the whole Coachella thing, and he's like texting me like, this is so crazy, man. Like, I just met this person, all this stuff. Like, I'll be at the house, whatever. And he just like brought his friend, and they would just like stay in the room, and his managers, I guess, would just take them around Coachella. So we bonded like a lot right there. And then he really blew up, dude. Like, after that, like insane, right? Location really caught fire as a household song, radio. Good vibe, you know, like everybody's rooting for like the young kid, you know, he's just amazing voice. You can't believe this, the album's 18. He made these songs when he was like 17.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And you're like, this kid sounds like this? Like it was just so, just such a unique thing. And I was like, yo man, I'm in the studio. Same studio I made Alone. Small room, dude, small room. Something called, I forget the name, Lemon Tree Studios.
Okay.
It was in Ausla, because they were an imprint of Atlantic, you know what I mean? It was like an Atlantic, like Blood Pop worked there. That was like his thing. But he bought his own room at the very end of this very small building. But like he had like a huge room, and legend, Blood Pop's.
Definitely.
Such a legend. I'm like, yo dude, come through. And it comes with all of his homies in this small, tiny room. And everybody kind of like gets the hint like, oh, this is a little too small. So everybody leaves, and it's just me and Khalid. And I'm playing through loops, you know what I mean? Just chords with like different sound textures, right? So pad, sometimes people like piano. I was still new to studio sessions. Like I remember my first few studio sessions, the A&R pulled me out. Was like, hey man, this is usually how studio sessions go. You have to like let people like. And I was like, oh my gosh. All right, so I kind of got it down by then. You know, I was doing studio sessions for like 6-7 months at that point.
What did he pull you out about?
Like he didn't pull me out. We had like a break, and maybe I was being too overbearing or something. I forget what it was, or too like. I can't even remember, man. It was like 10 years ago, but. He didn't like pull me out like, can I talk to you? He just kind of like, oh, hey man, like this is usually how studio sessions go. I'm like, okay. So I knew like just come prepared with some loops, not like full EDM beats, you know what I mean? So I'm cycling through loops. There's this tiny little couch behind me. It's literally like right where this table is. That's how small this room is. All right. And the walls are probably halfway where that couch is from the wall. All right. So this tiny room.
Okay.
Padded though, great, like awesome speakers, stuff like that. He's like laying down and he texted me and he's like, you know what, man? Like, I'm so busy, but like, you're my brother. I love you. I'm going to cancel some shit. I'll be there. He's like, I'll come by. Like, 100%. So I'm like, amazing. So I don't, you know, with like really famous, busy people, you know, their intentions are good, but sometimes maybe they'll miss a studio session, whatever. So I wasn't really expecting much, but he came through and he's laying sideways on the couch on his phone. I'm like, damn, like, he just showed up just like to be nice. Like maybe he doesn't want to make me, I didn't know what was going on. So I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play some whack ass horrible loop I know he doesn't want anything to do with. So I play it. And he's like, wait, go back to that other one. I guess he's like laying on his phone. I'm like, he's like scrolling, you know? I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, I didn't even know you. He's like, yeah, go back to that one. What are you doing? I'm like, my bad.
I'm back, guys.
And
what's up?
No joke. Plays for about 5 minutes. That whole time he was writing the full song on his phone. Didn't change lyrics once. Sits up like this. Lays up. I thought he was on like, you know, Instagram or something.
Yeah.
He sits up, comes like vertical, kind of scoots to the edge of just us two, by the way.
Yeah.
Scoots to the edge of the couch, closes his eyes.
Exactly.
Sings the whole song.
No way.
Completely. We did the second verse later. Sings first verse, whole hook, didn't change a word.
I'm back at
Didn't change a word, dude. Close his eyes, sang from the heart. Like, if you look at the credits, producer Marshmello, writer Khalid.
That's incredible.
And then I was so inspired because I had a full beat to it.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I just knew that, like, I knew how the verse would sound with that, like, wompy, it's like random serum patch or whatever. It's like, womp. I found peace in you. You know what I mean? And I was like, dude, that hook is going to go so good over this thing that I wrote. Because I was just playing 8-bar loop for him, you know? Wasn't playing, like, full things. And I'm like, just trust me, bro. This is going to be so good. How could you not be inspired by somebody doing that?
Yeah.
Like, dude, what? And so I go back home, load his vocals up, produce Silence out full in 2.5 hours. Do you understand how hard it was for me to keep it that simple, but know that that's what was called for? You know what I mean?
How did you know that was what was called for?
Because that's what sounded good to me. I'm like, this is too simple, but it sounds good.
Yeah?
I'm like I said, like, I always felt like I had nothing to lose, you know? Because I was just so happy to just, like, even be playing just a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll just do whatever I want. Like, it's like 3 layers. I can't even remember, like 1 bass layer, 1 sub. It's like
it sounds good. It's
such
catchy.
a bad sub. It's just so funny. It's just crazy.
Was that the first song that played on the radio for you?
Yes.
How did that feel?
So it was actually interesting because
I'll be right back.
I got thrown into being Marshmello. Like, I'm on Outside, all this stuff, right? And I'm like, okay, well, a lot of my peers are on the radio. You know what I mean? I'm like, I immediately have to go for radio. And that's what I thought. So I was like, slaving, like, just in my studio, just like trying to say, okay, what are these guys doing? What are these guys doing? And nothing was coming because all of a sudden I put myself in that box that I always like told myself I wouldn't. I didn't feel like free. And after a while, after talking to, you know, a lot of like my peers that were really big, they're like, yo, man, like, don't chase that. You want that to come as late as possible, as long as you have steam. You know what I mean? You don't want to jump right to the radio, because then what do you it's really hard to follow up with. You know, Chainsmokers did an insane job. You know, follow-up after follow, crazy. And I felt pressed personally, I felt pressed to be up there with all these guys on the radio. But after a while, I was just like, man, this isn't working. After a few kind of like, not like depressing months, but a lot of frustrating months. I couldn't get anything, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know how to maneuver. As soon as I let go of the reins, the box, silence happens. And it just organically goes to the radio. You know what I mean? Like,
and also the label for Khalid is pushing it to radio as well, while you can be an independent artist and focus on everything else.
And
smart.
And that's how that went, man. And that was just crazy. And then we just toured, we did so much promo. I remember there are these photos. He'll die at this story. There are these photos. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. There's us in a tree house, poking our heads out of the windows, like Three's Company or something. And we're like, yeah, those are good photos. We're gonna use this. We were in Florida, where he's from, in the middle of the jungle, shooting content, and we're so hot, and it's just such a funny day. And we were in the back of this SUV. I don't even think the AC worked or something. We're recording these liners. And he's new and I'm new, and it was just it's those moments. The age of promo is kind of changing, you know what I mean? Post the TikTok and just whatever, you know what I mean?
Hopefully
push
something catches on and goes
before
viral.
and then maybe you'll do promo, but back in the day, promo was your best foot forward. You didn't have a gauge like TikTok. You didn't have these. Maybe you had some social media stuff, SoundCloud metrics, stuff like that. But back in the day, you have a single, you're doubling down, you're 10 toes down on that single. You're gonna run promo. So a lot of the closest relationships I have with artists were from that pre-TikTok, whatever it was. I don't want to just say, just TikTok, blah, 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 but whatever it was before that, those are all my closest artist friends.
That's sick.
Yeah, and Khalid, we ran that back for Numb.
Yeah. That song's great too.
Round 2's been doing really well. Kane Brown, I did One Thing Right and Miles on it.
Yo.
The round 2s have been going really well, so I think I might continue. And Jonas Brothers, I just put out Slow Motion.
Yeah.
And Slow Motion, I really like because it's kind of an ode to Friends, the production style on Friends. It's same tempo and hip hop, and there's scratches and stuff like that.
That song's great too.
Thank you. I was really stoked about that.
How did Friends come about?
All right. Funny enough, talked about promo, talking about Silence. I was doing promo for Silence in the UK. Traveling around with my day-to-day at the time. Bussing around to all these okay, we got this MTV thing, we got this, the age of promo, like that. And I'm just so tired, man. I had to jump at the time zones, you know what I mean? And it's just crazy, when you talk about oh yeah, I'll just flip times, a lot of artists will just flip time zones for 2 days. Have to just suck it up, figure out your sleep, and then go right back to the US or wherever they came from. I was feeling like that. Feeling very just very lethargic, tired. And they're like, yo, after all your stuff, there's a session with Anne Marie. And I've told her this too, so I can say this. No feelings will get hurt. I'm like, I knew Anne Marie. She was awesome.
As a third-year student, I'll be starting to apply for internships, which means resumes have never been more important. And Grammarly helps me.
I was just so tired, and you have weak moments, you know what I mean? Sometimes where like that night, I was like, no, I don't want to do a session. I'm too tired. But I'm thinking, my whole mentality of this Marshmello thing was do the stuff that your peers or other people wouldn't do. They're sane enough not to, not that going to the studio at 9 p.m. in London was crazy after a day of promo. It came from the same spot. Dude, push yourself, man.
Yeah.
You have to. Why are you here? And so I'm like, that's fine, cool. So pull up. I have this guitar loop. Back when Splice was new, you know what I mean? It was Prime. A lot of producers know Prime loops. It was some of the OG loops. Looper, what is it? Loop Masters, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Whatever. Got this little guitar thing. Meet Anne Marie and Nat Dunn. Nat Dunn's an absolute legend as well. They were, I'm not sure if they're still writing partners, but they were writing partners back then, from what I understood. And I have this loop. It's funny. I wasn't really tempo oriented back then. Now I have to be mindful of tempo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's 90, it's gonna be some sort of, trappy, twerk-esque, you know what I mean? Drums, you know, Happier I would even call like twerk drums, you know what I mean? Because if you just strip all that out, just like, it's almost like breakbeat or something. And it's like with like claps and all this stuff. So, but whatever. It was like 95 was this loop. And play it for her. Boom, right then and there. She's like talking about, oh, you know, let's write a song about the guys, people that can't take a hint, you know? Like, we're just friends. Like, and at me, I'm like, at this point, I'm like totally removed from writing lyrics. I'm like, yo, I'm just here for the music. You do your thing, you know? And artist writing is the best. I love writing with artists. Like, it's so different. Me and my, like, all my writing homies, or actually like my real homies, we always like joke like, okay, guys, are we going to do a songwriting song? Yeah. Or are we going to do an artist writing song? Because artists think differently. They can get away with more. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, songwriters are like, well, we already said back, so we have to do it, but we can't write. I'm like, guys, go listen to like Yellow Lead Better by Pearl Jam. There might be a few words, it's just mumbles and like top the charts. It's like this insane thing. Like like, anyways, so Anne-Marie's writing artist style, you know what I mean? She just has her homie writing. Crazy concept, all this stuff. And so we write that and I'm so tired, I don't really understand what I have until the next morning. And I'm on my laptop and we're running around all the promo and I'm making this song. I'm so inspired. I'm making this song because at the time I don't think I ever did like a 95 BPM Marshmello song. Okay. You know what I mean? Maybe one. Anyways, so I'm just like making this thing in the back of this van of like me and my day-to-day just traveling around London. And life then was like if somebody like took your head and just like shook it constantly. Like that's how like life felt back then. You can't really get a grip. You know where you are. You can kind of see, but you can't really like, you know what I mean? You can't really like just stop for a second and be like, oh, okay, this is what my life is going on. I was just going. I didn't realize what I had until I got back to my apartment in North Hollywood. And I sit there and I hear friends with the drums that I put on and my laptop speakers, all this stuff. I'm like, okay, all right, something's here. Spent that day, and then it came down to the bridge. And this is like the perfect example of like how I was feeling about making music at the time. You know, there's trap elements in Friends, but I got to the bridge and I was like, wouldn't it be like funny if I did like this like West Coast like thing with the bow wow and the on like the pitch bend on the, you know, like little triangle or square, whatever wave that is. And I did it because there's no rules. Like for me, I was like, I could do whatever I want. And so I have this whole song with like acoustic guitar and trap drums and like horns. In the chorus, there's like, it's like for no reason, but it just sounded cool. It's like, what's happening in this song? It's ridiculous. And then I was like, you know what, just double down, West Coast for no reason, West Coast Bridge. And everybody was like, my team was like, yes. We don't know why, but yes, that's the vibe. And we did that. I did that. Maybe finished it that day. I think that one I chipped out a little bit longer, but no more than like a week or whatever. Yeah. And so then I was like, yo, Anne-Marie, like, we're going to become friends. No pun intended. I was like, I know how promo goes. We're going to be doing this a lot. And we, you know, went and did promo around the world and got super close.
Amazing.
Crazy.
You did do a lot of promo there. There's a ton of interviews that you were silent. No pun intended for Khalid.
Yeah.
And I saw an interview you did with Ryan Seacrest, with Anne-Marie, Ryan Seacrest. Ryan Seacrest says to you, which artist are you excited about any of the song, about like an artist that you're working with, that you're collaborating with? And you say Bastille. And his reaction was, really? And which is really interesting. I love Bastille.
I love Bastille, dude.
So phenomenal, like incredible vocals. Some of like in my opinion, one of the most underrated bands today. And his reaction being like, really? And I don't think anyone could have. Also, like Bastille has one of the best covers of any song ever. We Can't Stop Miley Cyrus.
Oh yeah, he's such a beast. I miss Dan.
Like at the time, Bastille, like it's been a bit since they had a hit.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to work with Bastille, and how did Happier come about?
All right. Happier is also just very, just like the universe, just like dropping things like in your lap. You know what I mean? I decided to take a break, right? A break for me back then, a long break for me back then was like 5 days, right? So I go to like Hawaii with my friends, whatever. We're all chilling there. And, you know, we're partying a lot. And I come back into the room, take a breather, maybe take a shower, I forget what it was. I open my laptop and there's a demo in my email from my manager. And my manager, you know, I never had a label, no A&R or anything, right? So my manager, you know, not every time, but he'll send a lot of stuff through and then it'll click for him and then it has to click for me and then that's, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I get sent this thing, he's like, hey, this sounds pretty cool. And it was Happier, but nothing even remotely close to what you hear now.
Interesting.
Yeah, Steve Mack produced it.
Shout out.
Legend.
Wow.
Steve, I'll see you soon. Yeah, insane. So he sent this over. He's like, this is a very important song to me. You know, and Dan was singing it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, Bastille, insane, you know? And a lot of the times, like, it's kind of like, it's almost like, remember that show, That's So Raven?
Yeah, of course.
And she kind of stares off, and she's like, and it just like comes back. That's like a dramatic thing, but with a lot of these songs, when I get demos, it's like, I just kind of stare off, and I'm like,
yeah.
That, I was like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna do it when I get home. So closed my laptop, went back home. It's like, this is insane. I was like, the structure's wrong in the demo, but for me, like in my head, it's wrong. But I'm gonna, you know, I'll figure it out when I get home. I'm supposed to be relaxing and having fun, right? So close my laptop, don't open it until I get back to this house. And I'm moving in here. There's nothing in my house, but except for my little studio. It's like echoey, it's like just the worst. For making music, you know, echo, you know, stuff like that. Tiny little room downstairs. And I sit there, I strip every single thing off of.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am Thaddeus Bullard, aka WWE Legend.
I don't think I use one element, just vocals, which is what I do for like a lot of demos and what we could talk about some other songs. But I stripped it completely. Just had this vocal from Dan, which is like, you get to listen to it a cappella. You're like, this is an amazing song. Like, his voice is just so good. You don't need the instruments. So I'm like, so much of the heavy weight being pulled is from Dan's voice because he's a monster. And I sit there and, you know, I'm going through just samples and stuff. And, you know, a lot of times, like, I'll listen to samples, but the chords, the first two chords of a sample will be like, oh, I like those. Oh, but those last two ones, you know, they aren't right. Or, oh, that middle chord's wrong. Then I'll just like redo it. You know what I mean? There's like, you can like plug samples into like MIDI analyzers, you know? Back in the day, it wasn't that good. So I kind of had to learn. This was during the moment, like my piano, like we talked about, like I wasn't really too savvy with chords, right? Like I am now.
Exactly.
And so I was like, you know, really like drawing them out, you know, drawing these chords out.
Yeah.
Changing a lot of the chords in this original sample. I forget what it was. Anyways, came up with this chord progression I really liked. The first sound I ever made was that weird, like slow attack, all the way wet reverb piano in the beginning of Happier. There's like this weird, like, wah, 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 you know? And I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's it. Like, it's such a relief. I'm like, I didn't have anything else, just those chords. It's like, just that alone, like, I feel like I can't lose. I was like, I feel like I can't lose this. Happier took like 6 months, dude.
Really?
5 months. Which goes against everything that I did before, being like, you know, a hit comes by real quick and you know it and you finish it and it's done. But Happier, I wanted to get a little bit more intensive. You know, there's like strings in there and a lot of stuff. So I remember just sitting around chipping away at it. And the funniest thing, the most ironic thing, how simple is that Happier melody? It's like right up there with silence. It's like, what is this melody? That took me so long to realize, oh, it's that simple. It's like a riddle, dude. It's like solving a riddle. You're like, oh, duh. This whole time I was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With like riddles, it's like, Tuesday doesn't mean Tuesday the day. It was actually this. And you're like, of course.
It's actually the day.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. That's how it felt for Happier with that melody. everything else. I knew the drums, you know what I mean? God, I wish the laptop at Dawn is getting fixed right now, but there's like so many iterations. There's like Happier V1 through fucking 25, you know what I mean? And I finally got it. And you know what's so funny about the bridge? Those guitars are like just simple, like, I don't know if it's Vengeance or what it was. I put that in just to send to my team as a placeholder. Like, I'm gonna figure out what to do on the bridge. But I didn't tell them that. I was just like, yo, here's what I have.
Yeah.
They're cool, done, song's done, that's it. And I was like, the bridge is cool too? They're like, yeah, it's awesome. The dun, 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 like those guitars. And I've always liked guitars like we talked about. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, okay. I was like, okay, I guess that's the song then. I'm just not gonna touch it. If everybody says it's good, I think it's good. I'm just not gonna touch it. And that was also like a big thing about like producing is like, there's like honestly a lot of mess ups.
Yeah.
Wrong, stuff like that in my songs. That I just leave in because I'm like, whatever, sounds cool, sounds fine. Like it adds a little like character.
And human.
Yeah, and human, I guess, right?
Exactly.
But that was like one of those things where it's like I could have really gone in on that bridge and like, who knows what it would have came out? Because I was like really into bridges back then, and how much can I flip the song on the bridge with like the West Coast thing with Anne-Marie and stuff like that. It's like I'll just throw these guitars in and just send it out and then I'll fix it later. They were like, no, this is perfect. I was like, all right, screw it. It's perfect. You know what I mean? So just left that there, man. And then if I thought my life was a blur before that, that Happier run, just during that whole thing. I can't believe they let me wear such skinny pants, man. That's criminal. Criminally skinny pants. I should have been stripped of my career right then and there, dude. What was I thinking?
Nostalgia right there.
I look like, I don't even know, dude. I look like the 35-year-old that still hangs out at the skate park, dude.
Nothing wrong.
With my big high tops and like so skin tight, but they weren't even like flex denim, dude. These are like real denim. Like, I don't know. That was a crazy move.
Yeah, that song hit number 2 on Billboard.
Number 2, yeah.
Was that like the song that really kind of changed? There's like Alone was the song that kind of catapulted you into the spotlight. Was that the one that kind of pushed you into mainstream in a sense?
I would say Silence Wolves with Selena and what's it called? Silence Wolves and Happier. Friends. That was like, who is this guy?
Oh, okay.
And they're like, okay, one song, that's fine. Then Wolves came before Friends, I think. Oh, I'm forgetting. Pretty sure Wolves one that came before. I forget. Anyways, okay, he did it with Wolf. All right, 2, that's fine. Give it to like the helmet guy. Then 3. Then Happier, they're like, he has the juice. You know what I mean? And you know what's so funny about that? All those songs are solo produced, except for my boy Andrew Watt on Wolves. Shout out Mr. Andrew Watt, dude.
Legend.
Me and that guy, man, we hung out so much back then. Like he had this house in Hollywood right here, in Beverly Hills, and he like was renting it.
That's so fun. Coolest plugin I ever used. Arcade. It's used by the top artists.
And I'm like, you're renting this? What is this studio down here, dude? He's like building into the house, like building a studio. I'm like, dude,
yeah. But
you're renting, aren't you? He's like, who cares? It's like we're making magic down here, man. Like, who cares? It's like mattresses on the floor, like chairs, like a drum set, all this stuff. Me and Andrew just like cranking out. Like I remember we like sampled vacuum. We were working upstairs in the. He'll remember this too. We were working upstairs in his living room, and there's somebody cleaning the house. We're working on like I think it was like an Icona Pop song, and the person throws on the vacuum, and it hits the note of the song. We didn't know it was coming. We're just working. We both look at each other. We're like, oh my God. It's like, wait, turn it back on. So we like voice memo it and like throw it in the song. Like, I think we used it as like a riser or something.
Which song was that?
It didn't come out.
Got it. That'd been crazy.
Yeah. Me and Andrew have some crazy songs, man. Crazy songs.
The time when you were working with Andrew, is that how Wolves came about?
Yeah. Andrew reached out to me and was like, Andrew's a really smart guy, I'm sure, yeah, as you know. Very, 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 very smart. And he just knows. He knows music, he knows the industry, he just knows everybody. And he's like, okay, I guess he was sold on the Marshmello thing. So he's like, hey man, got this song. Wolves, and would love for you to do your thing on it. And I remember feeling a little bit nervous because like I'm like, this is like the big dogs.
Yeah.
Like, what if I can't get it? You know what I mean? Sure enough, throw in. I knew like 4 on the Floor wasn't me back then. You know what I mean? So it was 128 halftime. So I was a little apprehensive about that, you know. But I was like, just stick to my code, stick to my protocol. And I was like, we'll just halftime it out and we'll just make it work. And me and Andrews worked in tandem and just made that song happen. That was a really big moment for me too, because I did the award shows that year. And I'll tell a story. This is how not disconnected, but this is how just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I went to rehearsals and like, I should be thinking like, yo, I'm Marshmello, man. Like, people know, you know, people know who I am. But I went to rehearsals with Selena and like I wasn't wearing the mask. So I was just a guy.
Exactly.
So I sat down for our song. And I was also like shy, man. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, goes back to the producing antisocial thing. Like, I'm shy. I'm with Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna go talk to her. Like, that's insane. So I just like sit at the little electric drum set that I'm playing for the thing. I might have said hi. Maybe. It's like played. It's like, oh, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? In this dark, like red room, like rehearsing. And I just like left. And I was just like, I just like couldn't come to terms, grasp what was going on. You know what I mean? And then we went and did that. And me and Andrew Watt were like in the corner of the stage. I was like vibing out on my like electronic drum set. Because that's what I chose that I wanted to play for this song. And then Andrew's on his guitar and stuff, you know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, so crazy times.
So nobody recognizes you when you don't have the helmet on?
Back then, no. Well, no, just never, really.
So you can just like walk around and do whatever you want. Has that been helpful, like for your sanity, for your mental health?
First thing everybody says, I just met John Mayer the other day. He said hi, but the second thing, I'm like, what's up, John? He's like, what's up? So you can walk around and you can just walk around. Like, that's it. That's all. You can just walk around. Like, imagine just like not being able to just like walk around. Like, he's like playing it out. You know what I mean? Like post.
Yeah.
We've been friends since that the Khalid Coachella story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That Holyfield and White Iverson. You know what I mean? So he's like, man, I'm so jealous, dude. Like, I remember he said something like, you can just like take it off, put it on, carry on with your day. Yeah, I was literally just talking to somebody about that. Who was I with? Forget. Something for Grammys. I was like, yeah, I think that may be why I'm kind of like not that I'm not crazy, not that artists are crazy, you know, but I've never had that like societal pressure walking around, you know. Just kind of vibe out.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you've had so many songs that have connected with so many people. One of the artists that truly made an impact that you worked with was Juice WRLD. Tell me about what it was like working with him, and then let's just start there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Juice WRLD, I remember I was in this house. Right below us is the living room. And no, let's start all the way back. I'm going to Coachella. Driving. This new kid Juice WRLD's out. He has this album. Just like this kind of like new wave. Like, I'm super drawn to it because it's like super pop punk coded. You know what I mean? Like emo days. Like, there's like a video of Juice like singing every single word to like Escape the Fate. Yeah, I mean, like he was really like that, and like I was like, yo, this is amazing. Like, for me as an artist, where I was like the melodies and stuff, you know what I mean? It was like that. Like, I'm like, man, this is insane. I just couldn't stop listening to it. Non-stop, man. Non-stop.
Beehive powers some of the world's largest and most influential paid newsletters. Here's why. Keep your...
All the way to Coachella, all the way back. All partying the whole time to Juice WRLD. Who is this? Oh, this is Juice WRLD, Juice WRLD. I get a text downstairs.
Exactly.
And, you know, Juice lived in a different world. You know what I mean? Like, times that he was awake, stuff like that, right? So I'm sitting downstairs. It's like 1 a.m. I'm about to go to bed. They're like, yo, Juice WRLD wants to go in the studio tonight. I'm like, what? It's 1. They're like, Mo's like, my manager, sucks. Like, and I'm like, you're right. It goes back to like, oh, I'm just going to push myself. You know what I mean? Like, normally people be like, no, I'm not going. You know what I mean? It's too late. But I'm like, these are these moments, Marshmello, when you go, you do this. I think there's like a party or something too. I was like, but there's like, I wanted to go do it. And I was like, no, we're going to go here. So I sit there with Juice, and I'll just tell you the story about when we first worked. And go into this living room, just like this like shirtless dude. He's like, what's up, man? I'm like, what's up, dude? Meet all his friends. I was friends with his engineer, Max Lord. Max Lord was there. And so I felt really, really comfortable, you know, because you know, at the time I was pretty shy still, you know. So I go into this room with like all these people who I don't know, you know. I'm like a little. I'm not just gonna go say hi to like I do say hi, but you know it's a little. So, but I know Max Lord, so I like flock to Max Lord. To this felt really comfortable, Max Lord.
Oh, real? Oh.
Max Lord was there. And so I felt really, really comfortable, you know, because you know, at the time I was pretty shy still, you know. So I go into this room with like all these people who I don't know, you know, like a little. I'm not just gonna go say hi to everybody. Like I do say hi, but you know, it's a little. So, but I know Max Lord, so I like flock to Max Lord. Hey, Max Lord, I got all these beats, stuff like that. Load up the beats. One thing with like me and Juice, like we were cut from the same cloth as far as like musical interests, right? From the pop punk wave, and like we both knew that. So any beat I would drop to him, he would rap on, because it was like infused. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the melodies I was writing is like very infused. I think we cut 3-4 songs that day.
Oh wow.
First song, Soda Pop. I just played it on Kai Cenat's stream. Got Roddy Ricch on it.
That's fire.
Thanks. I really want that song to come out. They said it would. We'll see. He's just sitting there. So strange though. He's sitting on a bar stool. It's not like a comfy thing. It's like sitting on a bar stool with a mic. Just like hovering like the ground, just like chilling with the shirt off, watching TV.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, load it up. I swear, he's just rapping and watching TV, and it's like the best shit you've ever heard in your life. And then we were watching Scream. If you pull up the song, he's like, red bottoms bleed like a murder scene, like the murder scene, like the movie Scream. And he turned to me before he dropped the line. He's like, yo, watch this. Like a murder scene, like the movie Scream, like the movie Scream. And I was like, this kid's a Martian. It's like he's an alien. Like, but he's not writing anything down, dude. He's like, think about anything you could do subconsciously. That's what he was doing, like, is like with rapping.
It's insane.
Like he's just sitting like with the mic here, just like watching the movie and like, all right, let's go, da 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 da, and then, all right, let's go, like watching, going down, watching, going down. You know what I mean? And I remember we were chilling. He's like, I'm gonna go ride my dirt bike. It's like, all right. Go outside. Homeboy's just like doing wheelies, like back and forth. He's like, then he sits down on his stoop. And, you know, this is late. I'm not used to it. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is so crazy. It's like really my first touch with like hip hop at the time. And I did some stuff with like Migos stuff before, but this is like, I was really there with this dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, all right, let's go upstairs. And yeah, we just proceeded to cut. I might have rolled up with 6 beats, and we did 3 or 4. That was just the first time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you're just watching a movie and like recording music.
And he'd like rap about he rapped about Scream. It's like, I'm like, what? I like, it's just like forgot about everything else in the world right there. When you're with somebody like Juice WRLD, you have to understand like some of these like super famous people, and Juice WRLD wasn't even just super talented. Aura, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're with some of these people, it's just like, it's like, you know, like in a video game where like behind you isn't actually rendered, but like when you turn around, the game renders it for you.
Yeah.
When you're with these type of people, that's like beyond the walls, like aren't even like, it's like you're just there in this room with this like alien. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was like with Juice, and like that's why I was drawn to him because of his talent, his personality, and he was just like a nice like kid, man. Just so nice. He just like always meant well. Every single time I was with him, dude, like, the last time we were together, we did, I forget. There was a lot of sessions. Everybody talks about his, like, movie theater studio in Encino.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff, a lot of songs happen in that room. We did Hate the Other Side with Polo.
Wow.
Me, Polo, Juice that day.
Yeah.
And,
yeah,
you know, we're just, like, all hanging out. And I remember, I'm getting them confused. We had one day when it was all me and Polo, and this might have been the same day. Maybe Polo left. It's the same room, same time of night. It's just me and him. And he's like, you know, man, like, just talking about his life and stuff, you know, and like, I don't want to go too far. I'm not going to speak on, like, him or anything, but we were talking about, like, you know, he's like, oh, I started smoking weed again. I'm just going to do that. He's like, that's all I want to do. I was like, bro, you just should, man. Like, he's like, I don't know. This, that. Just kept talking. He's like, I love my music. He's like, I don't know. It was just like, it was just a crazy one-on-one. And I think that might have been the last time I saw him.
Wow.
Yeah. Horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. I found out I was passing actually in this room. That was sad. It was really bad. Same with, yeah, it's crazy. But the music we made. All right, let's go on a happier note. I would drop him beats because it was so late. I'm like, jeez, I'm gonna fall asleep here, man. Here, I remember he did We Don't Get Along, which is like a pretty sought after. It was like a sought after demo online from his fans. There's like Mello Made It Right like playlists on Twitter. You know what I mean? It was like weird to get in contact with Juice because him and Maxwell shared a number, so I would text two people on one number. So I go on live. I'm like, oh, Juice is on live, and he's like did the whole song to that beat and like didn't even tell me. Like this viral like live clip of him singing this song, We Don't Get Along, like this thing I recorded on a guitar over there, just like I don't know. He's just like any beat, just kill it nonstop. And then he'd freestyle. He'd be like, yo, put on an Eminem beat. In between freestyling his own songs.
That's crazy.
I'm like, what? I come in and he's like bodying this Eminem beat, dude. And then he's like, all right, load up the song. Full song.
He's like, turn the Eminem beat
and he's
back
like,
on.
yo, put on the DMX beat. I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm like, dude, one of those guys who're just like, yo, I have no idea what you have going on, dude, but just keep doing it. Like, I don't know how you're like this. It's just nonstop, man. Big guy was nonstop.
You know, Roddy Ricch does the Mello Made It Right tag. And
he does.
But didn't Juice WRLD
Oh, yeah.
do one of them too?
Yeah. It's on the beginning of a song called No Jumper that's not out. I had him do a bunch of tags that night. Yeah.
You probably have like...
Yeah. Oh my God.
This game...
I knew it,
you're not ready for it.
Yeah, I'm good.
An album full of songs with Juice, probably.
Okay, so I'll tell the story. I do. So let's talk about Come and Go.
Yes.
All right, that's perfect.
Yes.
So we obviously made 1 million songs together. I mean, 1 million being like 10 in the double digits, right? 10 or something. So I had a really good relationship with Max Lord and obviously Juice and this whole team. And
Exactly.
Come and Go, I'll tell like the intentions of Come and Go. Come and Go was going to be the first song on our project. And we were going to shoot the music video to Come and Go the Friday after he passed away on Sunday night. The Friday at the end of the week, I went to a party. It's like MGK, Bozzy, all these guys were here. Right? I landed from, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I landed from Chicago. I took off from Chicago. The same place that night when Juice came into Chicago. Okay? Juice was landing. We're at the airport where he passed away. I don't even like, I don't even know. Talking about it is it's just crazy. Like, I'm not trying to speak on behalf of anything, you know what I mean? It's just stuff that's already known. So we take off each other, right? From each other's spots. I land, I go to this party. I'm telling all my homies. Me and Juice WRLD we have this project, dude. It's gonna be so sick. It's gonna be so sick. Like, we're shooting the music video on Friday for the song Come and Go. We have all these songs. Got Roddy Ricch on Soda Pop, telling, you know, a bunch of like LA artists that were just like hanging out, you know, because there's like obviously friend groups within the industry. So I know all these guys.
Exactly.
So I'm like bouncing around the party.
Yeah.
Like you have to. This is gonna be so sick. And so I do that, and like whatever. So the party like dies down. And it wasn't. I just wanted to go hang out. It wasn't like even a really crazy party. Get back here in this room, and the last kid who I was raving about this project to him would text me like, "I'm so sorry." Right, and then I was like, you know, because me and Peep were, you know, talked a lot too. So I know that text, you know. Thankfully, I haven't lost a lot of, you know, close, you know, I haven't really dealt with, you know, a lot of that, but I know that text, right? So I open up Twitter, I just see it for 1 second, I throw my phone across. Here, this used to be a wall. And I called my parents. I called my parents that night. It was like middle of the night for them. It's like losing my mind. I was like, just couldn't believe it, you know? It was horribly tragic. But lighter note, Come and Go. He was like so stoked on it. You know, they sent me that. They're like, we think this could be like some like EDM build-up song or something. You know what I mean? They didn't know like what to call it. And so I took just the vocals, like I did with Happier, like I did with One Thing Right with Kane Brown. It stripped all of the demo, right? And then came up with, you know, I have this, I think I'm gonna do a production breakdown video actually on Come and Go, my next one. It's like this, I wrote this like chord thing with ARPs, but then I put that plug at halftime on it, which was really big back then in hip hop. I started this whole thing, I was like, this is sick. Then I just, you know, played that guitar and just did the whole thing and like did the little Marshmello melody down, you know what I mean? Over some trap drums with like rock hi-hats, like this weird mix of like rock and all this stuff, because I knew Juice was down with that, you know? And so we got it to a place where he's like, this is so sick, you know? And then, yeah, you know, we were going to put it, or shoot the music video on that Friday.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. But I'm just so glad that he got to, you know, because you see a lot of like the posthumous work, you know, like I was just thankful that he knew that song before he passed, you know what I mean? Like that, it had his blessing, not his team's blessing, you know what I mean? It had his blessing, and it just came out just like it left it, you know what I mean? Like straight up. Like even the stuff we put out since with Juice, didn't touch it. No matter how bad the kick is, no matter how bad the snare is, no matter if the low end is still on the hi-hat that's like clipping it into the sub, you know what I mean? Just leave it.
Yeah.
But Come and Go. Yeah, that went number 2 on Billboard. Yeah. And that was true, you know what I mean? That was true to us because he knew that song while he was still alive. So it's like really, really, really thankful and proud for that. I think that might be my favorite song I've ever made.
I love that.
It's perfect personification or like representation of his sound and my sound. Like, you know what I mean? Like the hip hop verses, you know, stuff like that. And then it goes into the guitar, which we both liked, you know? Just crazy.
I really love that all the songs that you worked on, you're not touching anymore because it was like this last song, like the last version that he heard is the version that everyone hears. I really love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, yeah, I just have them. Yeah, I just still have them all. It's like, I even think we like mastered, like I didn't even have the project file for some of these songs that I've previously released with him. After he passed, like I just gave him the wave. I'm like, this is the true version. Like figure it out, master it, do whatever you have to do, EQ it, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like they try their best, and I'm like, nah, just use the original. So
don't even need to master it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Come and Go. That song connected with so many people, and what we actually have here is, from what I understand, this is you have the original guitar of the song and other songs too?
Yeah. Right here. Right there, if you want to bring it out here. Yeah. This is the one I use for everything. This and Guitar Rig, Andrew Rott showed me Guitar Rig is a VST. Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
When did you get that guitar?
This I don't remember. It wasn't like from a childhood. It was like when I moved out here.
It's like a celebration to be.
Yeah, it was like everybody had Strats. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want to be like everybody. I'm like, obviously Telecasters are popular, but it's like all my homies had Strats growing up and everything. But I was like, I'm gonna get a Telecaster. I just liked like the vibe of this, man. You know what I mean? Like the cream, like with the white. But yeah, this was tuned. I think it's very out of tune. It might be tuned down. But anyways, but yeah. This was Come and Go. This was One Thing Right. You know what I mean? I can't remember. Andrew Watt did the guitar on Wolves, so that wasn't in there. A lot of stuff, like on Here With Me. You know what I mean? This is layered into the like bass stabs. The dun dun dun. You know what I mean? Dun, 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 dun.
A lot of people will see you be a DJ, but they probably don't know like how many instruments that you play as well.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day. They're like, "Wait, you?" Well, first they were like, "Wait, you like mix the songs?" Like,
oh, I didn't know you mix the songs.
Yeah, like no. Like you like DJs like gotcha, you don't just like press. So they were there. And I was like, "Oh, well, you guess what?" It's like I play piano, and they're like, "What?" And I was like, "Guess what? I play guitar." They're like, what?
And drums.
And drums. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, like, let's call like, so Come and Go, solo produced. Here in this room over here. Happier, solo produced. Friends, solo produced. Silent, solo produced. Just like guitars and random stuff.
How do you know when a song is done? Or you don't?
What I do is I always sleep on it, and however many times I have to like wake up and like from that sleep, because like you forget about stuff that you did, and bad shit will jump out at you when you listen back. Right? So I'll make a song, sleep, try to do some other shit, forget about it, forget about the things I added, forget about the melody. I really don't want to remember the melody. Go back, like, oh, that's wrong. The day I wake up, there's nothing to change. Then I'll send it over. Send it to my manager. Hey, I want to put this.
Mom, can you come pick me up? I'm scared. I can't do this anymore. It's so stressful. Hey, sounds like you need some help. Have you ever heard of Grammarly? Oh, yeah,
I don't care about that.
If you've ever resonated with the stories, videos, mission of Behind the Wall and want to help support us further, then this message is for you. If you've ever wanted to rep Behind the Wall, well, this is the first time it's ever going to happen because we are launching merch to the public. I started this series to shine a light on the people and stories behind music, movies, and media, but it was also to build the platform I wish I had when I first started being a creative. And my hope with Behind the Wall is to inspire the next generation. And now, for the first time ever, we are launching Behind the Wall merch to the public. But I've been wearing this merch for years. I wear this hoodie. This is my Behind the Wall interview hoodie. This has been the hoodie that's been across from so many stories, from so many incredible artists, songwriters, producers. This is the day one hat. This is the first Behind the Wall merch item that has ever been made. 4 years ago, I started wearing this hat. It's been my thinking cap. And this is the mug that I've been drinking coffee out of, as well as hot chocolate at night when working on all things Marshmello, including this video. Where are we going? Behind the Wall. And this jacket is my favorite piece of clothing I've ever owned. I've worn it for some of the most important days of my entire life, including this Marshmello interview. I wore it to the Grammys, and I also wore it when one of the biggest dreams of my entire life came true. And that video is officially coming soon. But first, I wasn't looking to put out just merch. I wanted to create something that means something. Something that says you create things that matter to you. You care about the process. You care about building something real. Whether you make music, art, podcasts, or videos and have ever wanted to support what we do here at Behind the Wall, this is the perfect way to do it. So please check out Behind the Wall's first ever live merch for you all in the description below. And I can't wait to continue to go behind the wall with you all. And now let's get back to going behind the wall with Marshmello. We've talked about a lot of the songs that were hits for you, songs that I connected with.
Yeah.
What is one of the songs that you really connect with that you made that you don't really get to talk about it?
I feel like the story that I've been like foaming at the mouth to say was like the Come and Go story. Because like I started recording my sessions, but I wish you could have seen.
You mean like video recording sessions?
Yeah. Just in case, like, it's like
that's great.
You catch something. You know what I mean? If you go on my TikTok, like Harley Quinn, I just made for Fuerza Regida. I had to explain to them. I sat down all the Fuerza Regida, dude. It was like 15 of them sitting on the couch, right? And, you know, one dude plays a stand-up, one guy plays a guitar like this, and there's the other, then there's a 12-string, then there's, you know, J.O.P., a singer, and all that stuff. When I was explaining to them, like, playing in 4/4 instead of 3/4, because all of Corrido is 3/4, right? 1, dun, 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 1, 2, 3, right? So I was like, guys, we're gonna do a 4/4 song. Even just then, they're looking at me like, J.O.P. told me after, he's like, dude, I was looking at you like, wow, this is not gonna work. What is this kid talking about? You know what I mean? And I have that all on video, so I started recording, like explaining to them, no guys, so we play, like it gets an extra beat, and then we got it down, and I'm like, yes, and then I'm like, okay, it's like the trombone guy, and you're gonna play like a little melody right here. It's gonna break out into drums. And I'm like standing there like a conductor, like talking to all these guys, because it was actually this couch right here, but it had like a whole L. Imagine this whole couch full of dudes looking at you like, what is this kid talking about? Yeah, I mean, it's like stuff I have to deal with, you know. But anyway, so the reason why I say that is because that is all on video. It's on my TikTok. Obviously, my face is blurred out, you know. But that day with Come and Go, when I picked up that guitar and wrote the I was like, it's like that That's So Raven moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you're just like, your eyes glaze over, just like, just go crazy. And for me, it's Ableton, you know? Like, I wish I had a video camera to show, like,
it happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I'm gonna videotape everything.
And he freestyled that song as well?
That wasn't there for Come and Go. There was already a beat on it. And they were like, hey man, like, we're not really like, we just want to see what you would do. We have like high hopes for the song. Or like we have a gut feeling. So shout out Max Lord on that one. And Juice. Obviously Juice. But Max Lord, that was the one I specifically talked to when he's like, hey, me and Juice want you to work on this.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, on my other songs, like the Harley Quinn one was funny with Fuerza.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like I said, they were just like, what is this kid talking about? Like, this is not going to work. And then we had, like, Jersey Club. Like, my homie Hart produced it with Monk. Monk the Immortal is his full name, but Monk, producer named Monk. He was like, let's do Jersey, like, Jersey on the second half, on the second verse. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, we're already pushing it with making Corrido at 4/4, right? I'm like, whatever. J.O.P's like, yeah, that shit's fucking tight, man. And so then they like opened up this like Jersey club, like, you know what I mean? Because like, I don't know, maybe I like put it in as a joke, and he's like, no, keep that. I'm like, but yeah.
Before we started this, you talked about 2 other songs as well that really stood out.
Mm-hmm.
Be Kind.
Yes.
And Jerk with Oliver Tree.
Oh yeah, let's tell that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, which one would you like first, my friend?
Let's start with Be Kind.
Be Kind. Sitting on a couch at a house not too far away, my friend's house, get an email with Be Kind and Amy Allen singing it, who I know you know. Legend, just talked to her the other day.
Grammy-winning songwriter.
But of course, like, Amy Allen, come on.
Amazing.
Like, another alien writer. You know what I mean? Just like,
yeah.
How is it? How are you real? How do you, like, what goes on, you know? Shout out Amy Allen. I get this sent to me. The chords in the song and the demo, I'm like, yeah. I think it was like a 3 chord. It was very minor, very like dark, like not evil, but like just dissonant. I'm like, oof. Like, I think I had that thing when I heard Happier, when I hear these demos that I don't write, you know? I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. I played it to this girl I was seeing at the time. It's like, hear this? I was like, watch I'll send it to you tomorrow. Like, I'm gonna like do my thing on it. And sure enough, like, and I'm like fairly positive, but I'm not like 100% like, yeah, I'm gonna body this. You know what I mean? I'm like, I think this might be a vibe. then I went in there and stripped the whole, all the production, redid it all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Be Kind came. And, you know, so this was right before the pandemic. We sent it to Halsey. Halsey's like, she's like, you know, I think at the time, she's like, I'm not really trying to like.
That's like the best.
I'm like writing my own stuff, you know, stuff like that. But she told me, she's like, I'm like in my dressing room. I'm in backstage of this award show. I can't stop playing this demo. So I have to. And it was right when we knew there's like a virus or something going, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't really know. So she came over and we were like, should you stay on that? Like, there was nothing declared. We didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Concentrate fire on the target.
And she just kind of like slips into the booth over here, like I showed you earlier, and cuts Be Kind. And she just sounds amazing because she sounds amazing and she is amazing. Like, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yo,
and
bro, we
went and shot promo at her house. She was really, really passionate about the song. She was like, when you work with artists like that are like, not just like transactional, like, yeah, I'll cut this song, cool, hit, let's keep going. Like, she's like really putting time. Music video, like, she's like, did this whole dancing choreography.
And she did a great job. Like,
she did an amazing
cinematography
job.
in it was amazing too.
She's like artistic like that. You know what I mean? Like any facet of artistry.
She painted like a
thing
upside down on SNL while singing the song.
Right? She sang the song. She's in the music video. She's dancing the whole time. And she did this painting. Like, she is like the artist. Like, she is just that like type of artist. And it was just so great working with her because I was like, oh my gosh, you care about the song like I do. Like, you really do.
Incredible.
So I love Halsey, and yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, the music videos stood out a ton, just like Miranda Cosgrove and Happier.
Shout out Miranda too. Yeah, that was
like her first like comeback since iCarly from that I saw her in. That was crazy.
Really?
Yeah, amazing.
I obviously know iCarly, but I wasn't really sure what she was up to at the moment. But yeah, and you know, I actually just talked to her the other day. I was like, yo, thank you, like, thanks for being in that music video.
That's incredible.
Yeah, she's like, oh, thanks for having me. I was like, yeah, no problem.
I mean, we just talked about so many hits that you've done.
Yeah.
So many things that you've done in music. What would you say to those people who might call you an industry plant?
Well, I think like I kind of understand why, you know what I mean? It was kind of like a meteoric rise. Very peculiar, like wearing a helmet, and it's just like, there's no, like, I think they're thinking like, there's no way this is working. Yeah. You know what I mean? How is this happening? And guess what I was thinking?
That guy.
How is this happening? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in the same boat as these guys.
True.
You know what I mean? But like, granted, obviously, I'm like really, 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 really putting in a lot of work, man. Like, me and my manager, like, night and day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, anything and everything, saying yes to like everything. Like, do you want to do that third show? Like, nobody wants to, especially in a helmet. But that's why I do it, because like I know, it might, you know, take me to that next level, you know. But as far as the industry plant, let's just talk about specific industry plant. Like, a label gets behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a funder, you know, something, you know, pay for this, pay for that. We started Mello. We were living at our parents' house, like, respectively. You know what I mean? Like, I was at mine, he was at his. Like, he was like managing people, but it was like, you know, it wasn't this. There wasn't this like fund or these people or like label. I've never been signed. So like, what's the industry, right? It's like, what is there? There's nothing. There's no label. There's nothing. It was just us like grinding on SoundCloud and sending it to like thissongissick.com. You know what I mean? Like old blogs like that, and just making the right moves, man. Like, my manager's a genius. Like, we held off on shows for like the first year, and I was like, let's go play shows, but are you kidding me? I'm still back home. I'm like, he's like, dude, trust me. I'm like, all right. Held off on shows until, you know, we found the right one. First one was Skrillex in New York. Gave me like direct, was like, what? You have to, like, that's the tone. Like, I got direct with Skrillex at my first show. Like, what is happening, right? And like I said, I feel like all the people that are like industry plant, they're thinking, what is happening? You know what I mean? Obviously, like, seeing this helmet probably also added like some insult to injury. Like, okay, Annie's wearing this like crazy, like, Annie's like this little dude like jumping around and is working, and he's on the radio and he's all this. There's no way that that's what's happening. And that's what I'm thinking too. I'm like, hey, there's no way, is this really happening? Seriously? Like, I'm just in my apartment making music. And like, I'm like, it's just crazy. You know, it's like, it's hard to respond directly to that, but I mean, that's what I would say, man. Like, I was putting in the work, so it made sense. You know what I mean? There's this Lil Peep quote. And he said, are you shocked? Something like, are you shocked at where you are right now? And while I was very confused, like, just like, oh my God, thankful, but just, it was just such a blur, like, so crazy. The quote from Peep is like, somebody asked him, like, are you surprised at where you are? He's like, no. Like, no. He's like, I worked so hard to get here. Like, I'm here because of it. Like, it makes sense. You know what I mean? So at the same time, it was like, especially reflecting now, it's not shocking. You know what I mean? The work that I put in, the work that my manager put in, he built a whole thing, you know, man? Like, it's very strange on the outside looking in at the very, like, first layer of this dude wearing this, having this crazy run. But looking back on it now, it's like, no, I mean, it makes sense if you were, you know, if we all had body cams attached to us that whole time and you could see what we were doing. That's one thing that also sucks. Like, so I'm wearing a helmet, right? I'm not wearing that all the time, especially during like the hard decisions, or maybe we get in fights or whatever, like making decisions and doing all the stuff behind the scenes. Nobody will maybe ever get to see that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I brought a videographer kind of later, but those first few years, that's like if these walls could talk, I mean, if like the earth could talk, like that's only people that saw that and the people that were with me. Yeah. So looking back on it now, like we put a lot of work in, man. And so that's what happened. Yeah.
I connect so much with your story as someone who, like 6 years ago, was working in a call center, tried to do everything they could to like made silly little videos and is like on his iPhone recording his 2015 MacBook Pro, put out 3 to 5 videos a day for 3 years.
That's crazy.
And all like now having the opportunities that I have now, like to be able to talk to people like you, to be able to talk to people like Benny Blanco,
legend,
and Ryan Tedder,
legend,
and Amy Allen,
legend,
and of course Marshmello. Like it is insane to have like such an incredible opportunity and to be able to do it just because of like the work that was put into it. And I completely like understand and connect with your story because of it. One of the main reasons I started this series was to shine a light on the people and stories behind music, movies, and media, but it was also to inspire every underdog to go for it.
100%, man.
And it's so incredible to hear your story today because you really get to see it come to fruition. What is a piece of advice you have for anyone out there who wants to get into this for a career, that wants to do something, that has a dream, that may see themselves as an underdog but want to go for it?
Totally. All right. There's a thought I always have, a memory. And I kind of, I went on that Kai Cenat stream and he's like, inspirational speech, go. And I'm like, so I kind of touched on this, right? I remember, also big advocate of mental health. So I've been in therapy for a long time.
Okay.
I remember telling my therapist, like, when I vision myself, this is way back, when I was coming up, when I really wanted it. When I envision myself and I look at the stage, like, I don't see, that's not me. Like, I can't be that guy. Like, see, the thought of me being on stage with like even a remotely big crowd, I was like, that can't be me. I was like, I can't see it. There's no way. Like, it's just not gonna, it was this weird mix of like, there's no way that this is gonna happen. And also at the same time, like, I don't want to do anything else with my life. So I'm like, I already expected nothing to happen. No fame, nothing, dude. Like, I remember telling her, like, I need to get over this, like, this mental hump. Like, when I see myself, maybe I even, like, stage dive off, you know what I mean? Like, off the stage, because, like, it's such a cool show. I'm like, that will never be me, like, ever. And there's, like, such a duality, like, in your brain, right? There's always, like, the anxious part and then the logic part, right? So the anxious part's like, that's not going to be you. There's no way, right? No matter what. It's not, for me, it was the music. For anybody, even in my everyday life, you know what I mean? Like, what if it was this interview? Like, oh, you're going to mess up, man. It's not going to be a good interview. But then you have that other side, that, like, glimmer. That's, like, self-confidence, logic. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember thinking, well,
if you're running a marketing agency, chances are you're left confused and broke by all the shitty courses and YouTube videos.
Okay, that's out of the brain. You can just keep thinking that, like, anxious side of the brain. But I'm just going to keep doing what I know. I think I'm getting good at it. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I'm getting good at it. And I have nothing else that I want to do. So it's almost like you're seeing your, like, anxious brain as, like, a hater. You know what I mean? You're like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah.
So I'm like, all right, like, you keep thinking that, because I know you're just there to, like, mess with me. You know what I mean? And just keep doing you, man. And, like, okay, maybe you don't make it to stage, but maybe something else happens. Like, maybe this leads you somewhere, you know? But it's all about just following your gut, like, truly. Like, just do, like I knew in my gut right then and there, even I was having these thoughts, I still do, dude. Still to this day, about my performances or stuff like that, like, still. And I just know that's just like yap. It's just yapping. You know what I mean? Like, if you just follow, like, I know it sounds so cliche, but like, if you follow what's, like, inside, what you feel with your chest, you know what I mean? Will you be willing to, like, puff your chest out and put on the line? Like, follow what you're feeling. Like, something will happen. It's about, like, talent and opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, put yourself in those situations, follow it. It's going to lead you somewhere. You know what I mean? 100% it will. And just keep following it, honestly. And that's just kind of what I did. And I'm still in disbelief that, you know what I mean? How it is. So
I love it. I love it. And to end off, I think it would be really great to bring out, because I believe you have the original helmet. Is that right?
I sure do. Give me that thing. Dun da da da. Here, you can hold it first if you want to show the camera.
Yo, what?
Oh, right, dang.
Let's do side by side, man. What do we think?
Look at that.
What do we think?
Yo, what?
First, give me that thing. Dun da da da. Sure do.
Because I believe you have the original helmet. Is that right?
I sure do. Give me that thing. Dun da da da. Here, you can hold it first if you want to show the camera.
Yo.
Oh,
right,
dang.
Let's do side by side, man.
Oh my God.
Look at that.
What do we think?
This is the one that's 14 pounds?
No. This was, I didn't even wear this to a show.
Oh,
this was the Hard Day of the Dead, only seen once.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wait, that's crazy.
Once. Yeah, man. You ready? What we got in here? Okay. This used to hold a 9-volt. Okay.
Wow.
It has these little lights you can see here that are super glued in. They, like, lit up.
Yeah.
A little construction hat, right?
Yeah. That's incredible.
Construction hat. A little computer fan up there you can barely see.
Oh, that'll keep you cool?
Yeah. Oh, well. The dude is probably like, I'm gonna put a fan in there. It's like a little mouse blowing on you, dude. Like a full breath from a mouse, like a full-grown field mouse, just blowing on the top of your head. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's kind of silly, but you want to know what? Like, this is a testament. Okay, you know what's funny about this? This is where our heads were at. This is how far we thought this was gonna go. We're like, let's just get this made. Cool. Like, this is like the embodiment of like, this is where me and my manager thought like, okay, yeah, this is cool. Like, let's just do this and it's cool.
This is the embodiment of like just start and you'll figure it out.
Just okay. Hey, everything I just said about like I can't be that guy. Listen, I put this on my head and made it work. All right, you can make it work, no matter what it is. Just trust me. Take it from me. Take it from this guy. Don't even take it from actually me. Take it from this guy who wore this. All right. Let's put that there for the last.
Marshmello, it has been such an honor to chat with you
Thank
today.
you. That's so much fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully many more conversations in the future.
I would love to.
And I have to say that like your mission as an artist, a creator has been so inspiring to me, to so many people out there. Thank you for always doing the music. I don't think it matters who's under the helmet. I think what does matter is how the music brings people together.
Completely.
Yeah.
So thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you for being so nice.
And thank you for being a part of this. It's such an honor to have been the first official Marshmello interview.
Yes, thank you. And I got a little letter. Thank you guys. Thank you, man. You're the man.
Dude, thank you.
Thank you.
Woo!
Wow. Yeah, naturally that took 2 hours. Like even like May. Well, I will see you guys all later. See you in the next episode, guys. Bye, guys.